Hello, everyone. I see that many people have looked at my YouTubes about whole food, plant-based, and vegan, and I got a nice response, and it encouraged me to continue. And I hope that well, I hope that this is helping um, you as far as continuing your diet, your continuing your whole food plant-based way of life or vegan way of life, or if you're worried about whether you should get into something like this, I hope this is giving you some good points. Like I said, it's encouraging to me also, and I learn as when I'm making up the other YouTubes like this one, it helps me in organizing things, and it helps me to see how things work as far as change, as far as a way of life of eating is concerned. So we help each other, and like I said, thanks everyone for watching these YouTubes. Now I'm going to get into, I'll tell you the structure as far as the chronological order of my journey. As far as my journey is concerned, I'm at 1 year after 1 year. Before I get to that, I want to make 3 points, and then at the end I'll make hints if I have time. So my 3 points, this video, this one YouTube is mayonnaise, friends or co-workers, excuse me, and sugar. The first one, it kind of connects with these 3 points. The first two kind of connect and disconnect at certain points, but you'll see how they blend together. Mayonnaise is also, I'm sorry, before I get into the points cover the whole time that I'm whole food plant-based vegan. It goes the whole stretch. It doesn't go in any order or anything like that. It's just what I've learned, things that happened to me as the whole time as me, whole time when I'm, having this diet, things I've learned, things like that. The first one is mayonnaise. After being a vegan, after being whole food plant-based, on this way of life, I started to use mayonnaise. I didn't cut my mayonnaise, and I always felt that I wanted to, but I didn't, and I continued. And I had friends or coworkers tell me, mayonnaise is not part of your diet. And I continued to eat mayonnaise. I remember meeting a vegan one time. I was so happy to meet him, and we got along so well together because, of the diets and everything. And I remember I didn't want him to see, this is at work, and it's in the work cafeteria, and I didn't want him to see that I was using mayonnaise. And he would sit at another table, and I remember I said, I hope he doesn't come over and see that I'm eating mayonnaise. So it is something important. It's more important than what we think, because I was so conscious of eating mayonnaise, but I did it basically just for the taste, okay? Now, as far as mayonnaise is concerned, you do need something, on bread, when you eat sandwiches, when you just eat toast. Now, what I do is I put, if it's toast or anything, I melt like vegetable oil. They have a lot of different butter, kind of butter like margarine. You can use vegetable oil. It's like it's used in place of butter. Now I have some kind of spread, which is like 75% vegetable oil. And when I did become vegan, when I bought all those groceries, I did buy like margarine, which doesn't have any butter, or vegetable oil butter, or something like that, that substitutes for butter. But that's when, like when you melt it on. I never did like vegetables, spread or anything that's cold. I just use the margarine when it's melted, and I melt it on the bread. For sandwiches, I was still using mayonnaise. But now I can tell you that which is that you should get some kind of substitute because you need something on bread. That we'll get into that later on, but you do need something to eat. Like I said, when your body comes together, and we're going to keep talking about the body language and how to read things from your body, okay? From what your body wants, what your body needs. And I'm almost sure that oil or something on bread is very important. There's one thing I can tell you about, and you got to listen to the way I tell you, but I use from something that a place where I'm working at now, okay, which we use this on bread. It's 100% vegetable oil. It has vinegar and Dijon mustard and salt, okay. I'm gonna say it real quick, okay, let me see. Yes, I'll mention it real quick, but I want you to understand some things later on as far as the way I did it. I like to keep going forward, and I like to keep very organized. So I'm going to do it in a way that's going to save a lot of time. Like I said, you need something on your bread. Because it's so important, I'm going to explain to you this one thing, although there's many other things that you can use. Like I said, this is called Dijon mustard vinaigrette, or vinaigrette with Dijon mustard, okay? You can use mustard, that's another thing. I did use mustard instead of mayonnaise in the beginning. So that's one thing you can use on your bread for sandwiches and things like that. But this other thing, this vinaigrette, is very good, and it's a very good substitute for mayonnaise. Now, you put like this much, and notice the way I'm telling you because it means something, and I'll explain it to you later on, okay? Because your body doesn't, nobody, you gotta think in, like I said, a new way of thinking. We're not chemists, we're not biology majors, so you gotta listen to the way I'm telling you. I'll explain things to you later on. So you get this much mustard, you get this much virgin, 100% virgin olive oil, okay? And with this much mayo, okay? I mean, I'm sorry, not mayo. I'm so much into mayo. With this much Dijon mustard and this much red wine vinegar. So you got this much olive oil, 100% virgin olive oil. Then you're gonna go down to this much red wine vinegar and this much Dijon mustard. You can move this up a little bit. If you want it thicker, you take the mustard up like a little bit, okay? You can keep the wine there and you bring the mustard up. And remember, the olive oil is this much, okay? That's important the way I tell you because that's the way of thinking I want you to do. Now, if you want to put it into quarts, if you want to put it into metric system, you notice you're able to do it by the way that I told you. So those are while we do these YouTubes on whole food plant based, I show you things like that because it helps you to start thinking more the way the body thinks, the way that you can listen to your body. Okay. So let's go on to the next point. Now I told you I had a problem with the mail. My mail, at one point in time, this is recently, it was a sensitive subject because I had this friend who was very serious, and most of your friends will be very serious about when you say you're vegan or you're whole food plant-based, they want to see it, okay? But I had this problem with mayo, and I was eating it one time, and my friend said, it's not your diet, it has eggs in it. And I got upset. That means if I get upset, that means that it is very important to my body. If it didn't bug me at all, that means it's no big deal. Okay, but it is an important cheating thing that I was doing, even though I don't want to say I was cheating, but I was cheating, and I knew I was cheating. So anyway, he went upstairs and came back down and put down a whole plate of um, scrambled eggs, which they were nice. I mean, I didn't want to eat them, but he put them before me, and I got very upset. I got very upset with myself, although I took it out on him, and I got upset, and I let him know that I was upset. So then, when he left, and I went home, I knew that he was right, and I knew I had to apologize. And I went right to Whole Foods, a very expensive store, and I got some mayonnaise without eggs. Excuse me, or a sandwich spread, or the same thing as mayonnaise that does the same thing that mayonnaise does. Sorry, vegan or whole food plant based, and I found it was very good. And I came back to work, and I came back to work with it. Everybody loved it. They even scraped the jar. It was so good. And I had to apologize to him. Matter of fact, he made me apologize to him many times, because every time he tells the story, I have to say, I told you I apologize. I felt really bad because I really did react in the wrong way. And that goes to show you how important the diet is and how important your body feels about making the change, okay? I'm sure my body did not like me doing all whole food plant-based, and all of a sudden it gets the mayonnaise. Anyway, the next point, which ties into the second point, with the first point, your friends and coworkers, they will make sure that you follow your diet. Because if you eat something whole food, if you eat like a cake with eggs in it, they'll let you know that has cake, that has eggs, that has milk. You know you're eating that, but that has such and such. So I'm just letting you know that they know what vegan and whole food plant-based is. And they'll have something and they'll go, oh, here, take this. Oh no, you can't eat it because it's some whole food. Or it's this, or it's this. And every time you make a mistake, and every time you cheat, they'll let you know, which is good. The third point I want to make is sugar. Sugar, as soon as like I said, became whole food plant-based, I just went over to it. Another thing, one little point I want to say is the drastic changes in my body. Like, for instance, the adrenaline rushes, like I was telling you. I don't think it has to happen if you do it gradually. But I'm American, and a lot of Americans, they love to, once they find out something new, they want to do it right away. They don't care about the pain or danger. It's just like, I want it now. That's how we are. That's the part of our culture. It would have been better if I would have did it slower and slower and slower. I don't think I would have got the adrenaline rushes. I think it would have been over in time. Probably would have happened, but I probably wouldn't have noticed it. But like I'm saying, I went over to whole food plant-based, and from eating meat to no eating meat. And another benefit that I noticed, which I call a benefit, is that I found out that, I just found that I didn't have any taste for sugar in my coffee. I used to drink sugar in coffee, sugar in my tea, sugar if I had it in Kool-Aid or something like that. None of that I care about to have sugar. It dropped, okay? Because I listened to my body. Like I gave you that measurement, we're working that language too. I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to throw that in until you become very good at it. Now, the sugar, I stopped eating it. That's part when I was telling you that I was listening to my body. And I love coffee without sugar. I love tea without sugar. And then I had this one job, and my friend was telling me, everything you eat has starch, and it turns into sugar. I don't know where they're getting this from. I can do the research, but I'm sure they're not 100% right, or they don't understand some things. Because like when I eat right, they're telling me that it's sugar. When I eat rice, they're telling me that it's sugar. I eat a lot of bread, they're telling me that it's sugar, okay? but they're telling me as if they feel the white sugar that they put in their coffee is the same thing, but it's not. But I explained to one friend, yes, it may be starch, and starch may turn into sugar, but I stopped sugar. And that's one strange or something that happened when I changed over to the diet. I guess I started eating more starch, I started eating more bread, I started eating more rice, but my taste for sugar went down the drain. The taste for candy bars went down the drain. Yes, I used to eat candy bars. I used to eat certain kind of candies. I mean, I wasn't a candy freak, but I did have candy in my diet and white sugar in my diet. It totally dropped. When I eat oatmeal, I don't like a lot of sugar. So that's another benefit, and that was another point. Now going chronologically, like I said, we finished 1 year. But with the last year, I wanted to explain one thing to explain to you. This one is pretty much going to explain to you, you don't have to be rich or you don't have to have a big salary in order to be a vegan, okay? One of the reasons, I'll explain one thing first, and then I'll go back to my last year that I missed on the other tape. I couldn't get, when I graduated from college, I couldn't persist uh, in a professional degree, teaching or something or whatever, because I had 2 research programs that I've been researching since I was a little kid, and I didn't even know it was research. Now it's developed, and I let it develop by itself to where mathematics is one research project and linguistics is another one. Both of them are very important personal research projects. The mathematics is doing very well because now it's developed into, I can show you this, it's a Cartesian rooms. Okay, I don't know if you see this, but I have to do 9 of these books. That's to show you that I couldn't get in, I was pretty much had to continue to be like, I guess, poor. And this is to show you in my next years that you can be vegan and whole food plant-based without having a very big salary. Getting back from the thing that I missed one thing that I wanted to tell you about the first year is that I was going to school and I was in a atmosphere or a context to where I couldn't make food or sit at a restaurant and eat and stuff like that. Everything had to be fast food or in a food court, like in a mall. And I want to show you that it can be done if you're a student and you're eating in food courts and things like that, in university food courts and things like that. One of the things I ate for breakfast was with a biscuit and hash brown at McDonald's. Biscuits hash brown. I put a little jelly on it, not too much. Sometimes I didn't have to have the jelly. Okay. Sometimes it would be a little bit of butter. That was another thing. I didn't worry about it, but I let these little things go as time went on. Like, for instance, sometimes I'm sure they had a little butter on the biscuit. And biscuits have milk or butter in it. But later on in life, I substituted, later on in the journey, I substituted English muffin for biscuit. But anyway, I told you, I guess it's cheating or whatever, but I wasn't hard on myself, and don't be hard on yourself. So like I said, I was getting a biscuit in the mornings, and I was learning too, learning more about the way to eat with this whole food plant-based also. So in the morning I would get the biscuit and the hash brown. I had coffee. I dropped the sugar, thank God. That would be in the morning. That's some things I would eat. If I had a toaster, I would eat, yes, I did have a toaster. I would eat 2 pieces of toast in the morning, things like that, if I had time to do that at work. That's very good because I could melt the margarine. In the food courts, we're getting back to college. I didn't know that Subway had a vegan burger, a vegan sandwich or whatever. So I would eat a little bit of mayo. I would tell them to put a little bit of mayo, tomato, and avocado on my sandwich at Subway. So that's something else I would eat. Like I said, I wasn't strict on myself. I mean, I still kept up with the mayo, but now you know I don't eat mayo anymore. But like I'm saying, when you're developing this diet, the little things like that, it's just good that you're keeping the diet because they'll fade away at one point in time. If they had a Japanese or Oriental, I guess I can say Asian kind of food, which they did at where I was going to school, I have good rice and vegetables. I would always do that. Sometimes I would get the spring roll, which is not a little form of cheating or not against my diet, but then I stopped that. I mean, I don't do that anymore. But I would, and during the day, I would pretty much try and find things and put together things whole food, plant-based, or vegan. It's kind of fun, really, because you're walking around and you're going, like, oh yeah, I could do this. Oh yeah, that store has this. So it's kind of fun and it's like a hobby. And it makes you feel very good and it teaches you more about your diet. So that's as far as the college is concerned, the points that I wanted to make from the first year. Now going on with with my second year, and this is gonna be my second to my fifth year, okay? This is going after my first year, okay? And okay, so this is going on to my it's just that I'm washing clothes and I hear this thing and I don't want to do it. I want to finish this. So we're going to keep going with this. So here we are after the first year. Okay. I was out of school. I had graduated. I didn't have any problems fulfilling my diet because I was just working now. I did want to study. I was studying to be a lawyer. But I found, studying to get to take the LSAT, okay, which I found you have to study. I had to study to find out how I was going to study. The test is the way I like to do things. Because you pretty much, I couldn't afford any of those, the seminars or whatever. So the point I was making is I was working, but I had to find a way to study I was studying how to study for the LSAT, which I continued to do. So I was less pressure because I was finished school. I just needed to know what I was going to do. My next step was going to be. I kind of thought it was going to be professional, but like I said, I have my research projects. And I can't have everything take my whole mind just to make money because I have to do these projects, these research things that I've been working on since I can remember, and they actually helped me out a lot. So that next year, which I stayed in Denver, it pretty much went well as far as my whole food plant-based. But there's one point that I made at this year. I was in Denver my last year because I didn't move to Houston. So the point that I wanted to make, and I can click this off because I wanted to get this point for a long time, was the fact that what was the difference between whole food plant-based and vegan? And I liked the diet so much, whole food plant-based, that I wanted everybody to know whole food plant-based. But I didn't know what to do. So my friends were saying whole food plant-based, but it was so hard to explain to everyone, whole food plant-based. So I wrote Juliana Hever, and to my surprise, she answered it right away. And I asked her, what can I call myself? I can't say whole food plant-based to everybody. And she said, well, you're actually an herbivore. I didn't want to tell everybody an herbivore because not everybody understands that. So hesitantly, I did. I came to the conclusion from reading her email back. Thank you very much that she emailed me right back. To just say you're a vegan. So I came up to that conclusion, By the time I left Denver, this is 1 year after I graduated, up to 1 year after I graduated from college, that I was a vegan. And then I became comfortable with saying that I was a vegan. Then after that, so I went through 1 year. My next 3 years were in Houston. I wanted to move to Houston because I thought it was paradise, which I found out it was not. I don't know why I'm not saying anything about every place has the problems and stuff like that, but I really thought it was a paradise for some reason. I thought Texans were the most smartest people in the whole world, and it was the most beautiful thing. So I wanted to move to Texas. A lot of my friends said it's not a good idea, but I went anyway. Maybe I always have to learn the hard way. So now I'm going to also explain to you, because I took the train, and on the train you can do vegan also. All these places you can do. So now I explain to you that if you're in college, you can do whole food, plant-based, and without any problem. Now I took a train from Denver all the way to Atlanta, Georgia, because I had to see my brother. I hadn't seen him in a long time, and since I knew I was going to be in Houston for a while, 1 second. Low power. Okay. I have a low battery, it looks like, okay? But it looks like I can continue. But I might, yes, it's still continuing, okay? I'm going to have to hopefully finish this real quick. So, I moved to Houston. I'm just hoping that this thing works out. So I moved to Houston, but I said I was on the train. I took the train, and it was a long journey going to Atlanta, Georgia, and coming back from Atlanta, Georgia. So on the train, some of the things I did, first of all, a friend of mine's from work that I worked in Denver, made me the friend I talked about in one of my last I think it was the last video, made cornbread, vegan cornbread, whole food plant-based cornbread. It was the best. And if everybody, or if a greater percentage of people did whole food plant-based, it would be something else. Anyway, I love that cornbread. But you have to, if you're on a train, you have to make sure you take packages, which I did. I took packages of oatmeal, and the only thing you need is hot water. So that's one thing I ate on the train also. One thing that I didn't know, but now I know, they do offer, at least now, vegan burgers on the train. I didn't know that, but now I know. You can eat nuts. It's a good, if you have favorite nuts or cashews or something like that you like, it's best to get them before you get on the train, because they're very expensive on the train. Of course, I have my coffee, which is very good. And pretty much, I don't eat that many different things or have such a real big appetite when I'm on the train. Like I said, I don't eat candy and things like that. Chocolate, I do. But it has to be dark chocolate or semi-chocolate, something like that. And pretzels are very good in Muncher if you're on the train too. So bring pretzels, things like that. Like I said, some of the fun is actually finding things to eat. It's like, like a treasure hunt or something like that. But like I said, we stopped but we did have major stops, and one of them were Chicago, which you can get off the train and then refill on a lot of vegan things, or something like your oatmeal or something like that. They also have cream of wheat. There's a lot of things that you can eat. So that goes to show you that you can go on a trip as far as like a train, and this is more than one day. You can go on, you don't have to worry about staying vegan or whole food plant-based even if you get on a train. It's fully functional diet, or way to eat. When I got into Houston, of course, I had a problem, a big problem, okay? I don't want to get into so many in the details with it. I'm sorry I have to leave you hanging on that, but I have just the main fact to finish and to keep focus on this diet. But it was a major problem that I had. even though I had planned the trip so well. And I ended up in the beginning um, having a hard time to find something to eat, actually, okay? Because I had the problems I can't get into, because it takes up time. I don't mind telling you, but I have to focus on keeping this thing going forward and focusing and staying focused. And I had such a problem, but I stayed whole food plant based. I would eat things, of course, peanuts, nuts are very important. It might be fast, you don't have to cook them or anything, but those things are very important. They do help you out a lot. I found out that Hardee's has a vegan burger. Like I said, the things that I ate at McDonald's were good. I could eat French fries, things like that. So I went through that with no problem. Also, one thing that I came up with is tomato, avocado, and rice helped me out a lot. Then in Houston, I also found that in which sometimes it's the answer's right there and you don't even see it. But I noticed that in the grocery stores, this is where I found that there was I was like so surprised, happy that they had a section in many of the grocery store with vegan things. I can't say the name, I don't think. I mean, I want to, but uh, something's telling me no. But anyway, it has a company that makes meatless chicken wings. I had meatless pork ribs. Some vegans don't like to do it, but it was good. And I was in a position to where I had to eat something. And these people offered those things without meat, and it was something that I didn't have to eat meat, and I didn't have to worry about eating meat. But I had veggie burgers, black bean burgers. There were so many things I found, and I was pretty much poor, um, and I would buy those things, and that helped me out a lot. There was one time, and this is a very important point to make. There was time that I could have stayed vegan, but I needed calories, so I did eat like hamburger, maybe from McDonald's or something, or some place that I ate, because at one time I had to eat in a line or something, some place that offered free food or something, because I wasn't really doing good. It didn't last that long, but like I said, I'm not going to get into it. But I had to eat the meat because the most important thing, you can say vegan or whole food plant based, but you need calories. Calories come before anything, any diet, anything that you take. If you do not have a set amount of calories, your body goes into crazy function. You have to have calories before your diet. So I also structure my whole food plant based vegan diet according to what calories I can take in. And you need heavy calories. I mean, at least 2,000 calories. I mean, you can go short. So a lot of times I go a little bit shorter, but you need the calories. You definitely need 100%. You definitely 100% need calories. It has nothing to do with diet or whole food plant based. You need calories. You have to pick things, and I think that what causes a lot of people problems in this diet, in the fact that they don't look at calories as something separate from the diet. Your body needs calories. So maybe like once or two times, and it wasn't, and I didn't fail. I mean, I didn't change over. I didn't even want to change over, but maybe I had to eat hamburger from McDonald's. I think two times, because it was two times. One, I was eating in the food. I was eating this food line where just offer free food, and one of the things that they had was, it had some meat in it. I had to eat because, basically, because of the calories. And I remember also eating McDonald's hamburger because of the calories. But it didn't last that long. I got a job. Everything worked out very fine. And it was like two or three times. Okay. But that's where you have to be smart. So anyway, I those are the things I learned from Denver, and I was there for 3 years. So this is covering like 4 years, I guess. This is covered, which makes my vegan journey up to 5 years now. But the thing I wanted to take away most here is that you don't have to have a big salary to be a vegan. You can be going to school and you can still have a busy schedule in school and still have it. You can have a research project, and I have two of them, and I still and I wasn't making that much of a salary, and I still remained whole food plant based. So that's what the next 5 years has taught me. And so then I left. Like I said, I left Houston. I left Houston, Texas. Okay, thank God. I'm sorry for putting that in, but as far as my opinion, I had a bad experience from it. I don't say that it's against everybody there, or it's just my personal experience. Okay. Anyway, and I moved for to just for because I wanted to do something better. I wanted to at least some opportunities. But like I said, if I really thought about it, my most important thing are my research projects, and I can only make so much money off of the other jobs without the job being professional. So I explained to you some of the things that you can eat if you don't have a big salary, if you're going to school, if you have a research project and you're working on it day and night. Those are still, you can still obtain a very healthy whole food plant-based diet. Now to end this, I'm going to give you some hints. I always say the hints. One thing, since we talked about that thing I was telling you, explaining to you about how to make the Dijon mustard substitute for mayonnaise, and like I said, this much olive oil, 100% virgin olive oil, this much Dijon mustard, and this much red wine vinegar. And if you put the mustard up, it makes it thicker. And put it in the refrigerator. Make sure you put it in the refrigerator. So those are right now, when I told you that, I just wanted to build on that, and we're going to keep working on that. It's a way that your body speaks. The way, like if you said, like for instance, if you said, I want something to drink. You want a small, medium, large. So you have small, medium, large. And speaking to yourself what your body wants, you actually ask your body. I mean, not, it's kind of say like you ask your body, but you kind of see what your body wants. And then you say, oh, medium, oh, small, and what you want. Not just so much what your body wants, what you want, what your schedule wants. But still, and yet, it's still a way I would like that will help you to read the messages in your body and how to think. So that's going to continue. Now, one hint about protein. I told you I would keep proteins in mind. I know they're very interesting, and like I said, I want to deliver. I don't like to say things and then people waiting, and then they don't deliver. Proteins. I was looking it up. I took biology, but still and yet, even if you're a chemist, they don't know everything about protein. They don't know everything about amino acids. But your body pretty much knows what's going on with the amino acids and the protein. So the more you listen to your body, the more you can understand about amino acids and protein. You can tell a chemist, and they'll explain it to you, but that's all, how can I say, academic. It's all chemistry or academic or biology. So I was saying to myself, how in the world can I explain, and it helped me also, because I pretty much can figure out things. I don't have any problem figuring out things that I know, that I'm interested in. So we're going to cut that down and go into the cave. I call it going to the cave because we're acting as if we don't know anything, and we're going to make this thing happen. So the first thing I found is that what are the things that I'm eating that has protein? And then I thought to myself, so I'm forgetting about the amino acids. I'm forgetting about the protein. Because a lot of times when you say you need protein, and it's scary, but it's the honest truth, and you say I need protein, and you're telling your body that you need protein, and your body can't read that. I need protein. Believe me, a lot of ways we're smart, and a lot of ways we're not too smart. You can actually tell your body that you need protein, and your body will say like it has no connection or whatever it needs. Okay, because that thing is attached to a lot of things. That's just a little hint. You pick that up later on. So like I said, in proteins, this is where I'm going to do it the way that you can help you to listen to your body. Beans has protein. Nuts, I like cashews, it has protein. Rice has protein, and potatoes have protein. So this is the way we're going with this protein section, and we're going to find out what is it that the body is doing and what the body needs as far as protein is concerned. And this is our first hint that was given to me by my knowledge, and everybody else has it also. And this is the way we're going to go to find out some of the important things that we need in our body. Beans, so remember, beans has protein. Nuts, peanuts have protein. Rice has protein, and potatoes have protein. And I ate rice. I ate rice and beans yesterday. I had a complete meal. I felt great. That shows me something. That these two proteins work together. That these two foods work together. It's not just protein, it's other things that we cannot scholarly say or write about that happens in our body. That's a hint. Another hint I would like to give is to say that I told you calories are important. I told you about the substitute for mayo. The other one is saying things like this and that. When you have this and that, and your how can I say not storage, this and that. There was some word I wanted, inventory. All the foods that you have eating when you're whole food plant-based, whole food plant-based or vegan, all those foods that you have eating are your inventory. This is another way that we're going to go about to understand our bodies better and get information from our bodies. So we're going to call that the inventory. When you go to the grocery store next time, just shop for a week, okay? Which is not that many groceries. When you go into the store, you use that inventory. And you're walking down the aisle and you go, I want black beans. You drew that one from your inventory as far as being a vegan. So we'll call that the inventory. So, a lot of times when you're cooking, you say, I need this or I need that, or I should do this. That's a very good way of speaking to understand what your body's going through. So when you use things like this and that while you're cooking, because you already bring up the feeling in order to strengthen the feelings that you feel when you're preparing your meal, when you're eating your meals. Say things like this and that, or that over there. You know what I mean? If you understand. As you go on, you'll understand that much better. So this is my video which explains what happened after 1 year. And now we're up to about 5 years. And now, as I said, I've left on this journey. We've left Houston, Texas, and we moved. I don't know if I want to. Maybe I'll tell you about the next area. So anyway, we're going to the next area of where I'm living now, and that's going to include 2 years. So we did very good. Thank you for listening. I love everybody who's listening and enjoying and who are very nice people and appreciate things like this. I thank to those people, and thanks YouTube for making this possible. And I really enjoyed this, and I continue this journey that we're going on together, because we have a journey together now, because we're learning things together, not just speaking about my journey as far as being a whole food plant-based / vegan. Thanks again, and looking forward to the next YouTube. Bye-bye.